Hello and welcome to the Node.js Foundation Technical Steering Committee meeting on May 23rd, 2000. Welcome to the Node.js 18. We don't have any announcements today, or does anybody have something to announce? So let's just get started with the issues from the issue tracker. The first issue that we have is issue 20828, nominating John David J.D. Elton as collaborator. Congratulations, John David. Thanks for joining us. We are hoping to see more pull requests from you. And then the next issue is 20316. Documentation, update the notable changes in 10.x. Ruben added that to the TSC label. So the question is, can we change the changes after we made the release? James had a few thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I pretty much covered it in the issue. Just basically, I prefer not to be changing those after the fact unless they are obviously incorrect. But after talking about it with Ruben and well, I can't remember, but as long as the changes are also made to the release branch and to the website post, blog post, and keeping those in sync, then okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, so consensus on the thread was that you were fine with not blocking and nobody else was blocking us. So unless I hear otherwise here, I'll leave a note on the thread that we're ready to merge it. Thanks, Ruben, for making the changes to the changes. Okay, then the next issue, 19827, that's another documentation issue for documentation on porting the buffer constructor. Nikita, do you want to say anything about this since you put the label on this?
I put the label on that. Give me a moment to take a look.
So there haven't been any updates on this issue.
Yes, there are no updates yet. I will try to take a closer look this week.
Yeah, so this is the one for the making a guide for porting to the new buffer stuff methods. Is that right?
Yes.
So at a previous meeting where Nikita wasn't, I volunteered to help push that forward, to take what Nikita wrote, work with Nikita, or just take the ball and run, whatever, and just kind of try to get something together that we can put together. And I proceeded to do nothing with it. So this this is also on me to actually do something.
Okay. Are you also in charge of the next issue, 19079? That's the tracking issue for runtime deprecation of buffer constructor. They sort of go hand in hand.
Yes, and in fact, this item we're talking about now is one of the check boxes on that next item, and so yeah.
Is there anything else except for the documentation part?
I'd have to look at the issue, which I guess now is a great time to do that. So here we go.
19079.
Oh, well, there's also the identify important public modules that need patching and patch them. That'll be ongoing, and getting the word out via, a blog post and stuff like that. But other than that, it's basically writing this guide that you started, I think maybe Anna started it too, I forget. But anyway, writing the guide and getting it out there.
Do you want to ping me, say Friday evening with whatever we have, and I'll look over it and we try to get it out on Tuesday after the holiday. Mm-hmm. That was directed to Rich.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it's directed to me or Nikita. Friday. I honestly might not finish it by then, but that puts pressure on me. Yeah, let's just say yes. Okay. Let's do that.
Awesome. Pressure.
Sorry, what was that action item there?
I'm going to try to like Nikita has some material written. He wants other people to look it over and edit it and fill it out a little bit. So I'm going to make an attempt to do that between now and Friday, and then hand it off to Franzi, who's going to then hopefully give it another pass, and we can hopefully publish it after the weekend. Does that work for you, Nikita?
I think yes. That would be great. Also, about the public models, I think that I will try to update the database by the weekend. So I hope to make an update list for that.
Who is taking notes?
Both Michael and me are taking notes.
I think Rod's doing most of the work, though.
Okay, then we can move on to the Node.js TSC issues. So we have our tracking issue 476 for updating TSC on board meetings. Miles is not here. Does anybody have updates from Miles about board meetings? Then instead, we can move on to strategic initiatives tracking issue, TSC issues 423. We can go through them one by one. The first one is HTTP2.
Just progressing along, we have some bugs that are being looked at. The more people use it, know that they find these little bugs that are there, the better. Still hoping to have it out of experimental by the time 10 goes into LTS.
Can I insert a quick HTTP2 shout out to Anatoly for fixing that that whatever it was that was causing that cascade of HTTP2 test failures in CI?
Yeah, that was excellent work.
Okay, then the next one is modules. Let's skip that if Miles is not here. Michael, anything for NAPI?
On the NAPI front, the main focus is still documentation. There are a number of PRs open for Node add-on API if you want to take a look and help reviewing those. The other thing we're discussing, which I'll just sort of give a preview of, is we're thinking about what sort of criteria or policy we should have for adding new APIs. And as part of that, we're thinking about a process where we'd want new APIs to come out to sort of, when they're added, be experimental, likely guarded by, you have to put some additional hash define or something like that to actually be able to use them while they're in that state. With the goal being, for us to be able to get them out there and get some usage before, we're locked into a particular API. I think this will, we're going to write down the proposal, but I'm just mentioning it now because I think it'll require buy-in from the TSC and probably the rest of the project, in that it means that, things landed in Node Core in particular for an API would need to be guarded by that experimental flag. So anyway, just a heads up to give you a little bit of heads up. So when you see the issue, make sure to take a look and comment there.
Okay, thank you. Then SSL, Rod?
Yeah, so I've still got a pending item to get the docs done, but the other thing is OpenSSL 1.1.1 has been pushed out, the release date. I don't know the context there. I suspect it was simply that all the complexity with TLS 1.3 needed more baking time. So they've removed a proposed release date, but the last date they have is 19th of June for beta 6. So hopefully June, early July, we'll see OpenSSL 1.1.1, cross fingers, and then we can get this landed before Node 10 LTS. So we'll keep an eye on that.
On the doc, does it make any sense to just land what you have and then PR the changes when you get a chance? I'm just wondering if having something landed versus...
Yeah, that might be a way of making progress. Yeah, true. It doesn't match reality, but it's probably good enough.
If it's not harmful and it's better than not having anything there, I think that'd be the way I'd go.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. I'll check that today, and there might be some fix ups I need to do. But, yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool. Thanks. Then next one is workers. Anna couldn't make it because of the time zones, but we have an open pull request if anybody wants to take a look. 20876. Thanks, Anna, for all this work.
Yay.
It's an excellent pull request, definitely. We're taking a look, but it does, that one, there's another issue. I can't remember what it was. We have a couple issues right now that are highlighting the fact that we need to resolve the namespace for core modules issue. We don't need to have that discussion right now, but just want to, mention it just so it's on everybody's mind.
Is that in line with the FS promises discussion we recently had?
Yeah.
Okay.
So whether or not the FS promises is going to be in its own module, whether or not workers is going to be in its own module. We recently just added the trace events one. There's, as these things come up, we keep kicking this issue down the road. But
there was another issue for Broadly too. So I think there's quite a few that mean we really should resolve that so that we can move forward on all these different things.
Okay, and then the next one, error messages. Joyi is not here. Anybody else have an update? Then...
Nah, from what I've seen, that's been progressing rather nicely. There's still some to do and some improvements to be made, but no blockers, and also no significant news.
Okay. Then James again, core promise APIs.
We're just letting the FS promises stuff continue to bake. There's been efforts to improve test coverage there, which has been fantastic to see. I'm holding off on pushing hard on any of the other core APIs to promisify those until we are relatively certain that the FS promises are going to work as expected, and we see the adoption of those. So that's kind of where it's at right now.
Okay. Let's skip TSC governance because Miles not here. New Streams API. This is James again.
Jeremiah.
That's Jeremiah.
Okay.
Jeremiah, but I can probably speak. There's no much improvement there. The only thing that's been talked about recently has been some discussion of the exit criteria of async, the support for async iterators. So there is a tracking issue somewhere that I can link that I've never linked in the last few meetings. So it was actually kind of a month old, but I never reported this. So okay, this is my bad. So if you are interested, I'll paste in the link here. Yep. So this is the link. If you want to, that's part of the discussion. We really want to get that out and get that moving as soon as possible. But a lot of things has been moving around. So yep.
Okay, thank you. And then the next one is V8 currency. Tyros is not here. Anybody else have something on V8? And Ali isn't here either for async hooks. Any news there?
I can speak about that because there was a massive bug of async hooks. So basically, the node. If you don't know, the node release is unusable in production if you are relying on any APM integration. So basically, that's the hard truth. I did the backport. So the bug was fixed in V8 tip of tree, whatever it is. I did the backport commit to 6.7, and it has been landed on the pull request that Targos has opened. So basically, if you check out, if you want to test this, please do. If you check out the branch that Targos has been working on, it already includes the fix from the V8 team, and I've been working on that most of the week, really.
Sorry, what was the summary of the bug? Was that the promises one?
So Benedict did fantastic optimization of async await, and this fantastic optimization of async await, I think, optimized the one of the promises of async await away, really. However, that completely messed with async hooks. So it broke completely promise hooks, because we didn't test for async await, we test only for promises, and for promises there was no problem whatsoever.
Which branch were you backporting it to? Was it 6.7?
6.7. Yes, I can send it. Well, I tried backporting to 6.6, but it's currently probably out of my skills, I would have to say. Backporting it to 6.7, it already took me a good chunk of time. So
okay, so are we going to beg Targos to have a go at this?
Well, yeah, I would say it's better to just update V8 to 6.7 and get that out, because it's like it's done to be landed in a week. So I don't see.
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
that's the bug reach. That's the bug. Sorry, that's the bug. That's the bug reach. So and this is the fix.
Okay. So oh, you pasted the fix. Okay, that's great. That is fantastic information, because yeah, thanks.
So it's being discussed, and it's this is the commit that did the fix. So just to be super clear, I am adding this in. This is the commit with the fix, and this is it. This is very. I think this is important information. So. Yep. So anyway, yeah, that's about it.
Okay, thanks for the update.
So please test it, because if you are running an APM or whatever, please test this. On my test, it's working, but it's, you know, more testing is needed, I would say.
Yeah, more testing, and we wouldn't have had it in the beginning, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, this is also Maya from the V8 team is working on adding more unit tests for async hooks. Okay. So to cover some more cases, and we will probably add more. As soon as this land, I'll send the PR to add the test for this.
Perfect. Yeah, it's sometimes really hard to foresee what kind of changes and tests will be needed in the future.
Yeah, there was a nice discussion about this somewhere, about the fact that the async hooks tests were written before we had async await in V8. So whenever we introduce a new feature, should we add unit tests? This is a question mark. Like, should we revisit what we have when V8 ships, the language ships a new feature? Should we look and add new unit tests to all the APIs to see if they still work with the new concepts? This is a question mark for the TSC that's been left open, but that's not the time of the discussion.
I think the general answer on that is just yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's just, how do we do it? How do we know when we have to do it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the issues we had on the agenda. There is a question on YouTube. It's actually kind of long, so I'm not sure if I should read it out or if everybody else wants to read it. Thanks, Roy Kukan, for listening in and for your question. So the question is, we had been discussing about the possibility of a Freenode project cloak in the Freenode IRC. And I was wondering if the TSC has authority to push this forward.
So
I think the question goes to ownership of the IRC channel. And do we have that resolved?
We kind of do. I mean, but kind of not.
So the question goes on for quite a bit. Maybe you want to read.
The question is about if we can enable cloaking, basically, in the channel. And I think having people who are actively managing IRC, because very few people in the TSC do, to answer that question would probably be best. So it would be great if Jeremiah were here, but unfortunately he can't make it. And it would be great if Miles were here, but unfortunately he can't make it either. Go ahead, James. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that I know that this has kind of come up a few times with the community committee as well. And from what I know, it just has not been resolved yet in terms of ownership of that group. I think this might be a question that we push over to the community committee and see if they can get it resolved.
So the person, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your name, but the YouTube question is also about a particular comment on an issue. Do you want this to be answered by the TSC? It sounds like this is really more the ComCom space. I mean, we can look at it, but I think TSC would be much more helpful there. Hi, Tierney. I'm waiting if there's an answer in the chat.
So Tierney says it's coming soon. So I think we punt this one to the ComCom. It really is a ComCom issue.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should give this to ComCom. I could talk to people in the badges team. I'm not sure who is in the badges team or what that is. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so they will talk to ComCom and I'm sure you can resolve this. Thanks for listening. Anybody else have anything before we finish the public part? And thanks for listening and the question. Check out the Node.js Foundation calendar for our upcoming meetings. And we have another TSC meeting next week. Bye-bye.